Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Hyde Park Town Board meeting for Monday, July 8th, 6 o'clock. For those who don't know, those of you who don't know me, my name is Don Brzezikowski, Deputy Supervisor. I'll be filling in for Alpha Torrigiani, our Town Supervisor for tonight. Would you all please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting.
So moved.
Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's accepted. I'd like to add an amended agenda. This was amended today. Resolution 19, I don't believe it's on your agenda. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to provide a letter of support for Anderson Center for the autism application to the Mid-Hudson Valley Regional Economic Development Council, Empire State Development, for grant funding to help offset the cost of renovations and repairs to an existing building on their campus in Statsburg. The reason this was added tonight, it was a time-sensitive grant, and if we had waited to the next session for the next month, they would have lost the grant. And it doesn't have to be supported by any taxpayer money from the town. Thank you. I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. I'd like to open up the floor for any hearings on any of the existing resolutions. These are for the posted resolutions for tonight. Right now, this is not for the cannabis discussion. This is for the resolutions that are posted tonight. The floor is open for any discussion. Okay. Okay. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing for tonight.
Before we motion, I just wanted to mention today was the national rollout for 988. If anybody is not aware of it, 988 is now the mental health and substance abuse hotline. We do have a mental health and substance abuse hotline here in Dutchess County. But now to access that line, you just need to dial 988, and now it is a national number, just like 911 or 411, 988. So thank you.
Is that all? I'd like to have Serena read the public hearing notices that had appeared in the newspaper.
You still didn't do the motion.
Oh, I thought I did.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's accepted.
Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park shall conduct a public hearing on the adoption of proposed local law number A of the year 2022, entitled A Local Law Repealing Local Law number 9 of 2021, which was entitled A Local Law Opting Out of Allowing Cannabis Retail Dispensaries as Authorized under New York State Cannabis Law, Article 4, on July 18th, 2022 at 6:05 p.m. at the Hyde Park Town Hall, located at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York. A copy of said local law is available for inspection at the town clerk's office during normal business hours and will be posted on the town's official website. All persons desiring to be heard on this local law shall be given an opportunity to do so at the said public hearing. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park, dated June 27th, Hyde Park, New York, Donna McGrogan, Town Clerk.
I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's accepted. The last town board that sat, at the time this came up with the last town board, there really wasn't a lot of information out there, and the last town board opted out of this option. Since then, we have done some further research. Opting back in for a cannabis dispensary doesn't even guarantee that the town will get it. Each town is selected separately by the state. A few of the things that we opted not to deal with was, number one, along with the dispensary, we opted not to have a lounge or a drive-through. Of course, if the state did select Hyde Park as a dispensary town, they would have to pass strict zoning laws to where something like that would be able to be put. That's all I have. Nicole, did you want to add anything?
No, thank you.
John?
I'm good.
Okay. Serena, did you receive any comments?
I did. I received one comment in favor of this new local law.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to open up the floor to the residents. Please be respectful of each other and try to adhere to a 3-minute time frame so it gives everyone a chance to speak. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm a Hyde Park resident most of my life, all but 7 years.
Before you go further,
Is
when
it
you
on?
come to, yeah, when you come to the podium, could you please state your name and your address, the street that you live on? Thank you.
Jennifer Yapel, Roosevelt Road.
Thank you.
Everyone here is here for a yes or no. I'm here with an idea that could lead to a business plan. All we need here is a small store that sells prepackaged cannabis products. We do not need a big designer dispensary. No. Nor would one come to a small town. What if I opened a storefront selling a specific brand out of California? Yes, licensing issues and product redesign would be needed on their part, but for now it's on the back burner. My angle is that their product is not available here right now. It is in Massachusetts, but it is not here. I like to bring it here. I trust it. With a small store, getting products directly from the manufacturer would be considerably cheaper, even with the added taxes. I could actually sell it cheaper than the designer dispensaries and keep the money here when I figure out how do I pay taxes here instead of it going to Massachusetts. And the reason why I am doing this is because I was supposed to be a 4th-generation firefighter. Now I have my chance to help people, like I was destined to do. My story starts at age 22, diagnosed with incurable diseases, but manageable. You're too young, but it's manageable. I've heard too many times over my life. How do you manage a disease? Can you slap it on the back of the head and tell it to shape up? However, one day in 2018, the manageable was taken away. The opioid crisis was in full effect. Quick, stop, no more. They are bad for you, really. Every bottle I ever obtained through a prescription from CVS Pharmacy in Hyde Park had a sticker on it that said addictive. Even the doctor told me before he put the pen down to the paper to write it, back when we had paper scripts. My manageable started with Vioxx. Yep, anal leakage at its best until you got used to it, but it worked for me. No complications. Nope, people are dropping like flies. I don't want to die either, let's try something else. Standard drugs, Neurontin, Zoloft, and Flexerol. 3 months and a week later, after being released from 4 Winds, I was told I could never take those drugs again. They all came with the same underlying side effect, may cause suicidal thoughts. Standing outside my office door, looking at a big glass window at the end of the hallway on a 3rd-floor office building, all I wanted to do was get a running start and jump right through it. So I made a phone call and said something was wrong with me. This was back in 2000, and unfortunately I had a phone number I could call. And I do want to make a shout out to Mark Molinaro for his efforts in the crisis center, and that I'm grateful that everybody now has a chance and a place to go when they're in trouble. In 2004, My daughter was born in January. My mother died in February. And in May, my rheumatologist at the time said, I have to keep you moving. My mom was his patient too. He watched her give up and slowly die. He swore to me he would never let that happen. It took a while, but finally found an extended release pill that was working. But on that day, I also started on long-term treatments for all my conditions. And within a year, I was on a good path. Jumped to 2018. Still on the same medications, switched to generic issues with insurance, controlled substance, and doctor. Then get told no more by my new rheumatologist. I was sent to a pain doctor for weaning. The pain doctor had the balls to tell me, I've had worse patients than you that have never been on narcotics. As I was sitting there crying, I did the best I could through the tears. I'm losing the only thing that works. I was told to suck it up. 3 months later, I had my last dose, August 27, 2018. On August 28, 2018, I sent one message to a friend and said, I can't do this. 20 minutes later, I had company. My friends showed up at the door. One had some old bud, and the other had a half cart with a crappy battery. One was rolling, the other was explaining me how to use the buttons. I couldn't see. I was still crying, eyes puffed up and red, but I did it. And I was grateful. Later on, I realized how close I was ending it all because the government decided what was best for all. A difference of 10 minutes that day, and I wouldn't be standing here right now. Yes, I had physical withdrawal, shaking, nausea, wished I was dead, but it was the pain, knowing it was never going to end, no relief and no mercy. My friends saved my life that day because they brought me cannabis. In 2019, I tried again, new pain doctor. I asked for one that could handle multiple pain-causing diseases. Nope, they sent me to a spine doctor. After going through what I've already had done, she closed my file, looked at me and said, I'm sorry. There's nothing more I can do for you. I kept it together and asked if there was anybody else in the group that could deal with my non-spinal issues. Her answer, no. If you try another doctor in this group, you'll be labeled as a drug seeker. And that is the reason why I never go to the ER in a flare. I had COVID and I did not go to the ER. I stood up, I put the clipboard and paperwork I hadn't finished yet on the receptionist counter, and I left, and I have not been to another pain doctor since. Today, now 4 years later, instead of paying 97 cents for 180 pills, it's now up to $400 a month for designer cannabis that really isn't cutting it for me. Where's the justice in that? I want to open a store here so I can help people like me. I don't want to lose another friend to suicide because the pain doesn't stop. No one should have to suffer like this. You cry when you wake up, you cry during the day, you cry yourself to sleep. And some days you just don't stop crying. But you can thank the government for this. Take away what works for the few that need it. I'm sorry, I'm almost done. As it is, we already feel like a burden to our family. We feel hopeless because we can't do normal stuff like laundry, cooking, and even picking up friends. Toddler. Okay, I'm gonna skip that part. As of right now, it's 40 minutes to either dispensary. So you gotta drive an hour and 20 minutes when at your worst pain. Of course, we try to get ahead of it. Get new batches before we run out of the old batches. But that never really works out, even with your best attempts. Having a dispensary here would not be like the old Kmart out in Arlington. Trash blowing around everywhere, people loitering all around all day. Us pot smokers do not linger or loiter around. When we have product in hand, we get home and we consume for relief. Someone mentioned driving. I can't drive when I'm high. I can't get out of my chair until I'm hungry. I'm going to skip the rest of that. Let me ask you a question. Did any of you hear me say heroin? Exactly. I don't want to be high. I want to be pain-free. There's a big difference. 1999 to 2018 on varying narcotics, then nothing. I did not go to heroin. The painkillers worked for me. Understand some people prefer pot over painkillers. Believe me, I understand. Stomach issues and headaches, I've been there. No judgment, I get it. So here we sit with the hope of having a safe place to test and buy quality cannabis products without the high cost. Now, I never thought I'd be up here right now, offering to open a cannabis store. But the purpose of my store would be when someone walks in with a cane, a walker, a wheelchair, or even being carried, tears in their eyes running down their cheeks, and can't even utter a word. I'll point to a comfy chair, I'll grab my samples and a bottle of water and proceed to sit next to the client. I'll ask one question. Point to what hurts. That's all I need to know, how to start someone on their cannabis journey based on the product line I trust. But we build it here in Hyde Park. But that's not it. I want to turn it.
I'm sorry, you have to wrap up, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You've taken up so much time. I've
All
tried
right,
to be patient.
last paragraph,
Thank
I
you.
promise. We are a historic town. We're starting to age out of popularity. Yes, there are still boring parents that bring their kids here to see the museum. But how about one day being known for, yes, a historic town, but also a compassionate town? We can get in on the ground floor to help people. If I can turn the Hyde Park store into the New York State distribution center for this company, then we would be the model for other small towns to create small cannabis stores in their communities like mine. That's a long time in the future, and I understand that. But we need to help people. If Roosevelt was still here, what would he say? All he wanted to do was help people. If a man with polio could run the country, I'm sure I can stand up and run a small cannabis store. Let's continue his vision and provide hope and help for all that live here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Laura, and I reside in Ward 4. I'm also an attorney in family court, where I unfortunately see a large amount of drug cases and the effects of using drugs, including marijuana. Sure. I'm here to voice my opposition to having a dispensary in Hyde Park. The arguments in favor of a dispensary relate to a potential profit for the town and an opinion that a dispensary would diminish black market marijuana sales. However, the statistics that I've seen in places that already have dispensaries show that there are increased risks of vehicular collisions based upon drug impairment. The police do not have a test to determine what amount of marijuana impairs a particular driver. Marijuana impairs memory, cognitive ability, motor skills, and regular use can lead to serious mental health issues due to the high potency. The dispensary itself has the potential to become a primary target for robberies based upon product and sales. It may also provide a cover for drug traffickers to sell other drugs nearby. For these reasons, I implore you to vote no on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Monica Crolius, and I live on Valley View Road in Hyde Park. I've been a citizen of Hyde Park for 65 years. I myself am against having a cannabis dispensary in Hyde Park for the reasons as this lady had listed. I'm not going to go into detail, but if you go online, there's a lot of websites. There's Yale, there's American Heart Association, American Lung Association, there's CDC. All these and plus more have a list of all the negative effects of cannabis use. I just want to bring up one point from these articles, and my point is that the concentration of the active ingredients in the recreational formulation has gradually increased over time. This is from the American Heart Association. The Center for Disease Control, CDC, has an article here, and these are all recent articles. The amount of THC, which is the main component in the cannabis, a compound in the cannabis, the amount of THC in marijuana has increased over the past few decades. In a study of cannabis research samples over time, the average THC concentration almost doubled from 9% in 2008 to 17% in 2017. And it says products from dispensaries often offer much higher concentrations than seen in this study. In a study of products available in online dispensaries in 3 states with legal non-medical adult marijuana use, the average THC concentration was 22%. And the articles, all these articles from here, from the Substance Abuse Medical, from Yale Medical Research, they all state that, yes, cannabis use can and does lead to addiction and increased use in other drugs. So with that said, I just want to close with I want to quote from an article from the American Addiction Center. It says, the medical community has sounded alarm bells over what years-long exposure to cannabis can do. Unchecked, long-term and short-term, marijuana smoking damages brain capacity for memory and cognitive tasks and increases the risk for the development of a number of health problems later in life. And that can be even more serious because cannabis has strengthened in its potency in the last 25 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Hans Seehes. I live on Albee Drive in Hyde Park. I just want to make a plain financial point that concerns me, my family, and the community. I do not want a single cent in tax increase, fees, or of any sort whatsoever because of other people's irresponsibility in wanting to use cannabis or pot. That will affect me. They will create emotional problems. They will create physical problems. They will cause accidents on the road. It will have a tremendous impact on communities. It is not good personally for your psyche, for your personality, as you as an individual. I don't want this to snowball on the community and personally my family, and I will eventually have to pay to get these people cured or get them help then when they should never have gotten involved in it. Not a single cent should come to me as a burden because of their attitude.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Robert Crolius. I live in Valley View in Hyde Park. And I just want to focus on a few studies on cannabis and violence, if I could. I'll take 3 or 4 quotes from this study that I have here. A 2013 paper in an Italian psychiatric journal examined almost 1,600 psychiatric patients in southern Italy and found that cannabis use was associated with a 10-fold increase in violence. Now, further, a 2012 paper in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence examined a federal survey of more than 9,000 adolescents and found that marijuana use was associated with a doubling of domestic violence. A 2017 paper in Social Psychiatry and Psychiatric Epidemiology examined drivers, or by drivers I mean causes of violence among 6,000 British and Chinese men and found that drug use, the drug nearly always being cannabis, translated into a 5-fold increase in violence. Now finally, not to overuse my time, this last paragraph is on the legalization of marijuana. The first 4 states to legalize marijuana for recreational use were Colorado and Washington in 2014, and Alaska and Oregon in 2015. Combined, those 4 states had about 450 murders and 30,300 aggravated assaults in 2013. Last year, this would have been 2018, this was 4 years ago, they had almost 620 murders and 38,000 aggravated assaults, an increase of 37% for murders and 25% for aggravated assaults, far greater than the national increase, even after accounting for differences in population growth. And I'll just finish with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Denise Oviat. I live on Cardinal Road, and I think that there's a lot of uneducation when it comes to marijuana. I think that a lot of people have very old information, long before our government was lying to us about marijuana and the use of it and the effects of it and things like that. And it's only been within probably the last decade that we're really learning the truth about it and its effects and how people are affected and can be helped by it. So I just think there's a lot of people that have a lot of old misinformation and a lot of new information. Yes, THC at the recreational places is much higher, but people aren't smoking as much because it's much higher. But I just think people need to educate themselves on it, and we need to have more of open discussion and more education about it for everybody, because a lot of stuff you think about it is not true. And there's probably a lot more people that you know using it and enjoying it, whether it's for medicinal purposes or for recreational, than you're aware of. And lots of studies I've seen, like especially in Colorado, crime rates have gone down. Opioid use has gone down. Hardcore drugs have gone down because people are able to get recreational and medical marijuana. And why are we going to Massachusetts, New Jersey, soon Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and giving them our tax dollars when we can be bringing it right here? And it's not all about the money, because we all know it's going to open up in other towns around us, but we need to educate ourselves on the truth about marijuana and the use of it. That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak?
I'll speak. Do I have to repeat my last name too?
Please.
My name is Nick Guzman. I live on Rogers Place.
Thank you.
I can only really speak anecdotally. I have a very well-paying job. I'm a project manager. I run 4.5 miles a day. I'm very active. I go hiking with my family, my dog. I smoke marijuana every single day, multiple times a day. It really helps me keep calm because I'm a very hyperactive individual. Anecdotally, I can say I've been around mass groups of people and small groups of people alike that have been consuming marijuana together, and I've never seen any violence whatsoever. I've also worked as a pest control operator in New Jersey and gone into some of the poorest neighborhoods you could ever go into, including New York City. And I've seen there that the opioid crisis has actually affected people way more negatively than cannabis has ever done. I can only speak anecdotally, like I said, but I don't see where the issue would be. I do have a question for the council, though. So I know that there's I guess New York has already indicated what the split on the tax would be in terms of like a percentage that goes to the county and a percentage that goes to the town. So in considering this law, what would be the proposed plan for where that money would go?
We don't have that. We don't have
yet?
that information
Okay.
yet. No, we're too far away from that.
Okay. Thank you.
But thank you for speaking. Appreciate it. Okay, if there's no one else who wants to speak at this time, I'd like to make a motion to leave the public hearing open.
So moved.
Get a
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
John, in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to enter, I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Reason for
To discuss an appointment of a particular person. So it's for an appointment purpose. Thank you. We should only be a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to return from executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? When should I read this letter that was issued from the high school? Okay. At the end of the meeting, okay. Okay. Okay, so now we're moving on to our resolutions.
Speak in that microphone a little better, too.
Resolution 78-1 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to allow Vandewater and Vandewater LLP, Kyle W. Barnett Esquire of Council, to enter into a consent order and judgment to settle the tax certiorari proceedings brought by Hyde Park Mall against the Town of Hyde Park for the tax year 2021.
Get a motion?
That was the motion.
Need a second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Right. Resolution authorizing, Resolution 718-2 of 2022, resolution authorizing entrance onto the properties located at 18 Long Meadow Drive, Statsburg, and 4 Walnut Street, Hyde Park, having a mailing address of 4 Walnut Street, Poughkeepsie, to bring these properties into compliance with the standards of Chapter 85-5B of the Town Code, and to access the cost of such action against the properties as a lien and charge of the same.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-3 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to authorize the release of a road opening bond for Michael D. Valentino, OCS Industries, road location 10 Ledgewood Road.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-4 of 2022, resolution authorizing the town Hyde Park Highway Superintendent to sell at auction the salvage of a Town of Hyde Park Highway Department vehicle that was destroyed by a fallen tree and deemed a total loss by the town's insurance company.
Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-5 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the purchase of a new pickup truck for the Town of Hyde Park Highway Department to replace a previous vehicle that was damaged by a fallen tree and deemed a total loss by the town's insurance company.
Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Howie-
opposed?
Can Howie just come up real quick and just explain that situation so that the taxpayers are aware of what we're doing here? Howie, please.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, a tree came down and crushed my truck. So with the insurance money we're gonna get, it will only cover about half of it. They were only gonna give us a little over $4,000, the insurance company, to take my truck. So instead of doing that, we're gonna go out to auction with it, which I think we'll get over $10,000 for it, which will help. Then we're also gonna auction off 2 of our old plow trucks, because our new ones are being built now, and they'll be here before winter. So it won't cost anybody any money. We'll take it out of what we're gonna get in auctions.
Thank you, Howie.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Howie.
Resolution 718-6 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute a change order extending the term for the shared services agreement between the Town of Hyde Park and the County of Dutchess for 2022-2023 snow removal season.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-7 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to amend Resolution 222-10 of 2021, appointing Cheryl Kasluga and as the sole assessor of the Town of Hyde Park to reflect a change in the required number of employment hours for said appointment.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-8 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover no pro-tunc for Town of Hyde Park Building Inspector Donald Westermeyer.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-9 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve vacation carryover for the Town of Hyde Park Account Clerk Megan Cardinal.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-10 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of Town of Hyde Park Recreation Leader Teresa Gasparini.
Have a second? Yes. Paul. Oh, just recreation leader?
Yeah.
Just recreation leader. Okay. Second.
It's in the resolution, Bill.
It is?
Right here, yeah, on the bottom. This is, we wanted to read this in full. So first, finish the resolution. She seconded it.
Cole seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution's carried. At this time, I'd like to read something into the record. Be it further resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor and Town Board extend their appreciation and gratitude to Teresa for her dedicated service in bringing the community together, keeping them engaged in many wonderful town activities, especially those that were instituted during the pandemic. She will be greatly missed. We wish her much success in her future endeavors.
Resolution 78-11 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of part-time police officer Mark Passatino and appoint him as a full-time police officer for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution's carried.
Did you want to do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Should
Yeah.
we do the other resolutions so I can do both of them at the same time?
No, we usually do one at a time, right? So, come right down here.
Is he
Mark
here?
is here. He was here.
Is Mark here? Do you want to do your oath of office right now?
Mark, you can bring your family out. They want to come.
Who is the photo op going to be? Should we go this way?
Oh, hold on.
So raise your right hand. I, Mark Passantino,
I, Mark Passantino,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of full-time police officer
of full-time police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay. Resolution 718-12 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of part-time police officer Kristen McGraw and appoint him as a full-time police officer for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Okay, so just raise your right hand. I, Christian McGaw,
I, Christian McGaw,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the
and
duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of full-time police officer
of full-time police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Resolution 718-13 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of Georgina G. McGuire as part-time police assistant for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution's carried.
Resolution 718-14 of 2022. Resolution authorizing Town of Hyde Park Police Officers Mark Passanto and
Passantino.
Passantino and Kristen McGaw to attend the State of New York Police Juvenile Officers Association Basic School Resource Course, August 1st through August 5th, 2022, at the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, Poughkeepsie.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-15 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint Christine Pemberton to the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Commission.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Christine.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. Resolution 718-16 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept a donation from the Hyde Park Knights of Columbus, Chapter 6111, for the Town of Hyde Park Recreation's 2022 Music in the Park Series.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-17 of 2022, a resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to award the Town of Hyde Park Recreation's Dinsmore Playground Park Improvement Project to Petronelli Recreation, Inc.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution 718-18 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the release of the balance of escrow for completed projects that were reviewed by the Town of Hyde Park zoning administrator.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion's carried. We can read this.
Did we already did that? Oh, I thought we already did it. Sorry. The resolution that was added at the dais, Resolution 718-19 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to provide a letter of support for Anderson Center for Autism's application to the Mid-Hudson Valley Regional Economic Development Council Empire State Development for grant funding to help offset the cost of renovations and repairs to an existing building on their campus in Statsburg.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Sorry about
What's next? Any new or old business? At this time, I'd like to address any new or old business with the town. I'd like to take this opportunity to read a letter. This is dated June 29th, 2022. Dear board members, I would like to take this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation for the Hyde Park Police Department's support, professionalism, and outstanding participation in the mock DWI at the Roosevelt High School on June 3rd, 2022. The extensive planning, support, use of equipment, and giving of their time to the FD Roosevelt High School community is commendable. I am proud to serve the Hyde Park Central School District and work with our dedicated police department who give us so much for themselves. Respectfully, Michael Ruella, Principal, FDR High School.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Is there any other old or new business?
I just wanted to say thank you to Teresa Gasparini, Rob Pollard, the Recreation Commission, the Recreation Department, and the volunteers, the marchers, the families along the sidelines. It was really nice to return to a 4th of July parade of 4th of July parades, and also to the Visual Environment Committee for our marshal. It was, I think it was a great day.
It was great.
Beautiful weather, not too hot, not too cold, and nice and sunny.
The turnout
So-
was phenomenal.
Yeah, and it was nice. It was nice to be back out as a community, so that was very appreciative to all those that put that together.
Very nice.
Is that it? Just make a motion to adjourn? At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Okay. Thank you. Everyone get home safe tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.